Aloha, good morning, Harminder. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize if I am not pronouncing it right. First and foremost, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for allowing me to come forward and work with your team and your guides and to do this reading. Coming from the elementals, this is a reading coming from the fairies and the elves and just Mama Earth, the energy, the frequency, coming forth with your guides as well. And so I'll explain a little bit. I think we've done a reading before, but I could be mistaken, how I operate. Went ahead and connected with your guides and your team before I started the video, pulled the cards, and what I do is I sit and I do the reading ahead. I take notes and I just work with your guides and come up with what the messages are ahead of time that they're wanting me to get through, and then I just sit down and I go over them in the video with the notes with you. So that's what we're going to do. So we did the Fairy Tree spread, and that's a spread that really goes within, and what I like to view this spread as is it's pretty much like a past, present, future, but it's 11 cards and it really kind of digs a little more into the past things, what's lying beneath, what things have maybe been driving us consciously or maybe even subconsciously, and then comes into the present and what are the things from the past that are kind of driving the present, and how is that affecting us today and what's happening in our world today. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the future and what are some of those outcomes and what are things going to look like. And I always like to remind people when we're talking about the future is that life is never, there's nothing written in stone. We sign up to come in to get certain lessons, and I've always how Creator has explained it to me is it's kind of like one of those pick your own adventure books where the ending is going to be the same place no matter what. You're going to get to that spot at the end, but there could be several different paths that we can take along the way to get there, and we always have that choice. So things are predestined, but we also have free will choice, so it's an interesting combination there, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that in the future stuff, okay? So I'm gonna grab my coffee, and I also want to apologize ahead of time. I have some construction happening outside, so if you're hearing some weird noises, I apologize for that. I was hoping to do this around that, but it's not working out that way. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just dive right in. The first card that we're going to get is going to talk about what are these main factors. Like I was saying, what are the past? What are these things that are hidden in the past, hidden beneath that maybe consciously you're aware of? I think some of them consciously you are, but maybe some of them are unconsciously not aware of. And the first card that came up for you, hun, is Blood Moon. Okay, I'm going to hold that up close for a minute so you can see it. I'm also going to send over after the video, I have some still pictures that I took of the spread for you, so you'll be getting that as well to look at the cards up close and get a better look. So the Blood Moon, this is, like I said, talking about what are these underlining factors. And this is a card that speaks of a lot of sacrifice in the past. And I'm going to say this is definitely, first and foremost, what comes through is you're carrying a lot of family, lineage, frequency, a lot of things from not only your specific past, but there's a lot of pain from family past that has come through in your lineage that kind of can feel heavy and burdensome at times for us, but the beautiful thing is it's part of what you're here shifting and healing. So it's really a good thing. It's a positive thing. So this really is talking about, in the past you've had a lot of sacrifice. You've had to give up a lot of things, a lot of material, emotional, physical, mental. There's been a lot of time, money, energy, relationships. There's been, heartache in the past. And now's the time, you're really asked to continue that, but kind of in a different. Now we're being asked to start sacrificing the ego, start sacrificing the familiar, start sacrificing the comfort zone, kind of shift that sacrifice so that you can shift into embracing the love of the future. Okay, so that's what's been happening in the past. Now we're going to talk about what these past things, what has the past given you. And these can be things that can be scars. They can be scars. But a lot of times, the scars that we get really are gifts if we look at the proper perspective. And interestingly for you, what comes up is shapeshifter. Okay. So all these past pains and these past hurts and these past heaviness, they have left their scars on you. They've definitely left the scars. But they've also left you with the beautiful, beautiful gift of being able to shapeshift. Now, this has served you well all the way till now. Might not be serving as great, but it's served you well till now because you've been able to shift and shape into what everybody around you is needed at the time. But where it's caused you some of those scars and things is because it's enabled you to shift what everybody around you has needed. And it's allowed you to not shape shift into what you've needed for you. Okay? So that's where the scar and the gift comes in. It's a curse and a blessing, right? But the beautiful thing is, again, once we start seeing the perspective, we can start seeing how we can shift that. So now that you're aware of it, you can see how you can kind of shift these things into what it is you're wanting, what it is you want to look like, not so much what everybody thinks you should look like. Okay? And I'm just going to touch on my notes here and make sure that I'm getting there on everything. Yeah, allowing you to hide from yourself. So just making sure I'm touching on everything. I apologize for that. Yep, that's it. I did. I touched on it all. Pretty good memory there. Hey. All right. So we're going to come into the third card, and this is going to talk about the motivating choices at this time. Again, it's kind of just an underlining, another one of those underlining things subconsciously that's motivating you to do the things now, and maybe consciously or not consciously. And the card that comes up is the Elven Touch. Okay. This card literally talks about recovery and transformation, and that is what is driving you. You're underneath your subconscious is you're wanting recovery from these past pains. You're wanting to shapeshift into what it is that you're wanting, into that happy, peaceful place. Your very, very core is seeking to heal the mind, body, and soul. And again, and it's not even just your past pains, but it's a family lineage of past pains that your very soul is seeking to heal. Because when we heal ourselves, there is a ripple effect that goes out across time that heals our whole family lineage, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. This also speaks of a history of addiction. This can be from drugs, this can be alcohol, this can be food. And I got a real clear in this reading that this has to do with forms of addiction. Maybe not necessarily you per se. It might not be something that you've had to face, but it's something that is in your family lineage. And this healing that you're doing, this recovery that your very soul is seeking, that's where this is coming from. And this can be, it doesn't always have to be drugs. This can be, addiction to food. This can be addiction to sex. This can be addiction to internet. There's so many different things that this can be addiction to. But that is what is the driving force right now of your very soul subconsciously, is it's wanting to recover from these things. It's wanting recovery for you and for the whole lineage. Okay? So, the now, what is happening now that's led to this situation? Okay? And the card that comes up is bliss, contentment. I just love this card. It's so, so beautiful. This card speaks of those close family ties. It speaks of what that heart is desiring. Again, this whole reading really comes back to those healing and the family ties of the healing. It's really such a beautiful thing. These are all symptoms of love, contentment, satisfaction, security. These are all the things that you are to your very core. These are who you are. And you're seeking those connections, you're seeking those ties, you're seeking that family bond, um, new friendships. Sorry, let me come back to. So, that. Sorry, I lost my notes here. There we go. And also, I'm getting just reminded right now as it's coming through that these family ties don't necessarily always have to be um, blood. You know, our family ties can be the people that we choose, our soul families, our spiritual family, the people that we choose to bring into our circle. Um, okay. So the next card, the fifth card, is going to talk about, again, we're talking more about just that what's happening now, what's going on in the now. And this is the third card for the now, okay? And this is, again, what your soul is seeking. This is what your soul is asking for. And this is the merciful one, okay? And your soul is just asking for compassion, for release, for relief. You're really being asked to be compassionate with yourself. Um, let go of the old. Um, this can be an uncomfortable thing. And so you're being asked to be really kind to yourself, be loving to yourself, be understanding with yourself. This card is a card that speaks of very deep, deep change. Okay, deep, deep recovery, deep love, deep change. It's a sacred, sacred card that speaks of a shift from one thing to another. And that's what you're doing. You're in a transition, a shift right now. So be kind with yourself throughout this transition, throughout this shift. You are healing, okay? In the now, you're doing it. And then the third card of the now, card number 6. This is what you need to understand about what's happening in the now. And I just love how your guides are just so gentle and sweet and kind in this reading. The fairy godmother is what comes up, okay? This card speaks of revelation, discovery, empathy, okay? Um, this card speaks of being revealed what's been hidden for so long. The fairy godmother being able to wave her magic wand and you being able to see clearly your path, not only from the past but into the future. Being able to balance and see the healing and be able to see the love in the future and the growth in the future and where to go with that. It's asking you to be mindful, to count your blessings and to see the magic that's all around you in the now, okay? The next card, we're going to move into that future. What is your soul wanting to achieve? What is it you're wanting to move into the future with? What is that very core of the core soul asking for? I love this. The Yule Singer is what comes up. This card literally speaks of rebirth, okay? It's the death of the old, the rebirth of the new, which is exactly what your soul is seeking. It's motivating you to your very core right now, is to release those old past, to move forward in the now, and then in the future to be reborn into this new person, to be able to shapeshift and rebirth yourself into that new form that you see, the new form of who you truly are, the love and bliss that you truly, truly are. New friendships, there's contentment, new connections coming, growth from within. And this really just talks about that true love, really, really loving yourself, shining through, okay? The next card that comes up is what is most likely going to be the outcome. And I'm going to come back to that future is we always have free will choice. Remember that, remember that, remember that. Okay. So these are just some of the possible outcomes that could happen, but they're looking pretty good. And I think you're on the right track. So the next one that comes up is the Wild Hunt. Okay. This card speaks of excitement, frenzy, and it literally speaks of a journey. So I see this as a dual purpose actual card for you. This is going to be a very soul searching, a very soul to the soul journey from within. That doesn't necessarily mean even having to leave your house for that journey, but I also see a physical journey coming into your future. You're going to be doing some traveling, and it's going to be in the spring is what I'm receiving, the springtime. Um, Adventures, you get new people, new places. Um, this can be very fast and quick and seem a bit overwhelming. Things can come in very quick, and you're being asked to just be ready. Be ready to say yes. Be ready to be on guard to enjoy that excitement. And just know that it can feel a little overwhelming, but don't be afraid to call on your team and your guides, because you've got this. You've done the work and you're moving forward. And joy and peace and happiness, they're all in your grasp, okay? All of this is in your grasp. And even if it's seeming a little bit fast and furious, it's okay. Just breathe, stay grounded, and enjoy the ride, because it's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun, okay? Next card is going to talk about what could possibly hold you back. What could be some of these stumbling blocks that could get in your way to the outcome that your soul really truly is seeking. And the card that comes up for you is the other world, the veil, illness, transition. So what this card speaks of is, what I'm getting so clearly, is that fear. This is a fear card, and that's the only thing that can hold you back at this time, is yourself. Your own fears, your own fear of transition, your own fear of stepping out of the comfort zone. So it's a reminder that when this does come in fast and furious and can seem a little bit out of your comfort zone, the only thing that can stop you from moving forward into what the universe wants to bring you, the abundance, the joy, the peace, is your own fear of transition, your own fear of becoming who you truly are, the love and peace that you are to your core. Okay? That's the only thing that can block you right now. So don't let that happen. Don't let that fear get to you. False events appearing real. Okay? Stay in the love, hon. Stay in the love. So, the number 10 card. This is going to talk about how things are going to feel, things. What are your feelings going to be like here in the future? And I love this card. It's a beautiful card too. It talks about the solitary, self-love, dedication, respecting the soul's shadow. And that can sound interesting at times, and even sometimes it can look to the outside world maybe even as a bit of depression, or just recluse or hibernating or hiding away. And really what that is it's a time of self-reflection. It's a time that we come into when we're on the spiritual path of great development, and that we're okay with sitting with ourselves and looking with ourselves and being with ourselves. It's when we prefer our company. That's when that self-love comes in. Okay, that self-love. And that's where you're headed, for that self-love. That's what all this healing work, all this past work, all this healing and letting go and releasing, is for that self-love. And you're going to be feeling it. You are feeling it. You're feeling it now. And it's okay. And I'm getting so clearly to remind you it's okay to have self-love, to release the block, release the fear of transition, release the fear of what everybody else in the past thinks you should look like, what everybody else thinks self-love looks like, and shift into the self-love that you know you are to your very, very core. Okay? And last but not least, what's to come? The final outcome, moving forward, the best, most magical way you can move forward. I absolutely love this. Astrid comes forward. Free love. Love, fire, sensuality, fertility, self-love, relationships, all you are. You're going to feel complete, adored, wide open. New, exciting experiences are coming. Sensations, fulfillment, and love. Love. And the greatest thing, the greatest thing is you're going to feel the worthiness, because you are worth loving. You're worth sharing your love, and you're worth receiving love. And that's That's the vibration and the frequency that you're coming into. That's the feeling. That's where this next future year is taking you. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So kudos, congratulations. I can see from your reading that you really have been doing a lot of self-seeking, self-soul seeking, self-soul healing. And it's a really beautiful thing. It's so, so beautiful. And your team and your guides and the angels and the universe, the world, me, all of us, thank you for that. Because the work that you've done has helped shift this whole planet. Every time we take the effort to heal ourselves inside, we just take that little tiny step, the whole world shifts a little bit more towards that healing. And it's a gorgeous thing. So not only are you healing your ancestors, but we're all ancestors. All of us, we're all related. So thank you. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. Continue to do it. Thank you for stepping into who you are, love, light, the most beautiful being on this planet. Thank you so much for that. I'm so grateful to get to do this reading for you. And I do believe that that is going to wrap it up. It's going to be a very exciting year for you. I am super grateful you allowed me to work with your team, like I said, and come work with the elementals. When I get to do this work, again, it's also healing for me as well. And so it's grateful, very grateful for you for that. If you would like to head over to Earth Angels and leave a recommendation if this was helpful for you, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help out other people that are out there searching, and it is my goal to touch bases with as many people as I possibly can, and help us all grow and learn and shift. So thank you for allowing me to make my dreams come true and to work in this realm. I'm super grateful for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon in the future. Aloha.